Doing? I am Marlene Motivates, and I am your life coach. So, welcome everybody. I hope everybody's doing absolutely amazing. I'm going to put up a background here. Hold on one second, please, everybody. Let's do this with the palm trees. I think that looks nice. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about anger and all of those things. And today's topic I want to cover with you all is anger will hold you hostage. Anger will hold you hostage if you allow it. Now, that's one thing that I didn't understand about how much power anger has over you. Anger can make you do so many things. It can make you make poor decisions. Anger can make you say things that you will later regret. Anger can make you do some really make some really bad decisions. Anger can make you hang out with the wrong company. Anger can make you just jump off and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Hey, Real Odds and Evens, how are you doing? Welcome. Anger can do a lot to us. You know what I mean? Anger can do a lot. So I want to talk about this for a little bit. We're only going to be live for, maybe about 20 minutes. I'm not going to hold you all too long because it is the weekend, right? So I wanted to say to everybody that anger will hold you hostage if you allow it. Now, I want to say this, that anger is a power. It's a force. And if we don't check our anger, it's going to do something to you. It's going to make you do something that you will later regret. And I have seen so many times that people just jump off and do something because of what they feel, going by feelings. And I've seen that ruin people's lives. Listening to, your peers, or listening to your relatives, listening to people on social media. Even sometimes we'll be feeling that we've been slighted in some way, right? And if we don't check that anger, it's going to hold us hostage and control us. And why I wanted to talk about this is because I see so much people, they go live, they make videos, they do text messages, or they lash out in anger and ruin not only their life, but everybody who they value. I've seen people, they're doing a life sentence now because they did not check their anger. They didn't learn how to keep their power. And it's a very dangerous thing to be angry at somebody. And I will also say that it's nothing wrong with being angry, because it's a human emotion. And we have it for a reason, because there's many times where we are justified to be angry. But at the same time, we don't use that anger and then pop off, do something wild and crazy that you're going to regret later. So I wanted to say that part, but I'm going to go backwards a little bit. This is something that I wish that somebody had told me when I was probably a teenager. I wish somebody would have told me that anger will hold you hostage. I used to always feel like I had to have a reply. Somebody said something, I felt like I had to say something back. Or if somebody tried to smear my reputation or do something, I felt like I had to get people to believe me, or all kinds of things, and say all kinds of stuff about you. And I get it. It's very hurtful when people say things about us. I'm not gonna lie, because it's happened to me. People have said things about me, lied on me, done things, and oh yeah, of course, you have every reason to be upset, angry, want to do something, but have your say, vent with people that you can trust, but be very careful when it comes to anger, because anger could cause you to be incarcerated. That anger can make you put your hands on somebody. That anger can cause you to unalive somebody. You've got to be really careful. You can drastically change your life just like that by making poor decisions. Hey, realists, how are you doing? Welcome. You can ruin not only your life, but impact so many other people because of the decisions that you make. You can affect your children, your siblings, and you can impact the life that you would have had if you just would have took a deep breath and walk away. See, that is something that I think when you're young, when you're being immature, or when you think that you know all of the situation. See, a lot of times I know for myself, because I'm one woman enough to be mature and say sometimes you jump to a conclusion and you don't even know all the facts. You feel like you know, right? You feel like you know everything that happened, and you go in there guns blazing, not literally, but you go in and you have your say, and you say something, and you're rah, 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 going back and forth with somebody, yelling, screaming, saying things that you shouldn't have said. And has it ever happened to you that you say all of these things to find out later that it wasn't what you thought it was? I know I have. So I had to learn to don't just believe everything at face value. Just because somebody says something to you, sometimes people say things because they want to see two people go at it. They want to see people argue, fight, go back and forth. People like discord, you know, that's the people who are low vibrational, manipulative. They like to see two people, cat fighting or arguing or talking about one another, throwing people under the bus. Some people just love that sort of stuff. They love that, that back and forth, rah, rah, rah stuff. So it's nothing that we can do about it. But, we may not be able to control what other people do, but we can always control this. There's so much power. And people think that when you don't respond, that means you're weak. No, it takes a lot of self-control when someone says or does something to us to just do this. That's a power. That shows maturity too. It shows your healing. It shows that, you know how to have self-control. It shows a lot of things when okay, think what you want, say what you want. You're not going to get me to go back and forth with you, or I don't have to convince you that it's what it is. Let people think whatever it is that they want to think, right? Realist says, and instigate. Yes, people love to instigate and plant little seeds of doubt and make other people want to argue with you and fight with you. Hey, Sirius, how are you doing? Happy Saturday. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. I hope everybody's doing great. Happy Saturday. So, some people, they love to see that. And I hate to say it, but sometimes the people that can be the ones to make the most trouble is your very own blood relative. Do you all know people who are just like that? See, I know of relatives, I know of people that I used to associate with. There's a lot of people that I had to cut ties with because of their immaturity, because they're just an angry person. Do you know of people who are just so angry? And yes, I will agree that some people, there's a reason why they should be angry. A lot of things has happened to them. Some people have just got a lot of a bad deck of cards. Some people, just the things that has happened to them, the way they've been treated. Yes, you can be justifiably angry, but there's always a choice what you do with that anger. And I always go back to myself as a living example and testimony of what not to do and then of what to do currently. See, before, when I was immature, when I would let other people rev me up, when I felt like I had to always have the last say, I felt like I always had to be right. Yes, I would argue with people. I would say things. Always has something. They have this, you say this, I'll say that. You say up, I say down. I always had to have the last say. And it's not good for our blood pressure. It's not good for our health. And it also shows that other people know that they can do things to rev you up. They can do things to irritate you, and they know you'll take the bait. Just like Realist said, there are people who are instigators. They want to instigate something because they know that you have an anger problem. And there's nothing that we can do about those people who are just, they wake up mad, they go to bed mad, they've been mad their whole life. I know what that is and I know what that feels like. I definitely was justifiably angry for many years. I had many reasons to be angry. But then at what point do you make a decision and say, you know what? It's time for me to stop being mad and doing something empowering with my anger, getting some help, seeking some help. Yeah, I understand when a person is probably a teenager to your early 20s. Sometimes I give people a pass because they're young. But what about the people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s still doing the same low vibrational, manipulative, controlling, jealous, angry, starting mess stuff? When is enough enough? One thing about me is when I started to be accountable, and I think that that's what it takes. Each person has to learn to be accountable for themselves. I can only be accountable for me. I can't be accountable for what anybody in my life does. You can't stop what other people say, and I will agree that people say slick things with their mouth, and you wanna knock them out, right? For real, people know how to push your buttons and get under your skin. Um, hey Nate, how are you doing? Welcome, happy Saturday. Realist says it's why I just stay in my own zone. I know that's right, Realist. Realist also says sometimes they keep pressing that specific button and it's only a matter of time. I always say that. People will say things and you're not going to do nothing, and they want to be in your face. Oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Until one day somebody does something they can't take back. You got to remember that not everybody is well mentally. Not everybody has good mental health. Some people are right on the brink of snapping. See, and that anger will hold you hostage. That anger will not only change your life, it will change the lives of everybody that you love by a poor decision, by, even things like road rage. It's crazy, right? I see so much stuff. There's so much people in this world that are angry, not only on the road, on social media, in our families, on the workplace. Is so many adults that have anger issues, and those anger issues are holding them hostage, but they don't even realize that they are being controlled by this anger resolved. And I know, as a person who was formerly that way, like angry all the time, like always ready, like all the person has to do is just look at me some type of way and I was ready to pop off and throw hands. See, you never know what other people are going through and dealing with. You never know a person's feeling like they're just not having good mental health. Sometimes they're so stressed out about certain situations. It is so much stuff that can be happening to people. And I always say, don't poke the bear. You know the people that are not have it all together here. You know the people who just, okay, they're really close to the edge and they're going to do something. You have to be so careful. Realist says some folks are already on that edge of the cliff. They're already there. And all people are waiting is just for one little thing. You're like, do something, please. They're waiting for an excuse to do something to you. You got to be careful. Okay, real odds and even says you don't have to respond. It means you have emotional intelligence. Exactly, exactly. And that's one of the things that it took me a really long time to get to that space of maturity and that I don't have to respond. And, speaking to myself too, because it was something that I didn't grow up in that, but I had to learn that everything that is said to me, I don't have to have a response. I had to learn no response is the best response, especially when somebody does not have good motives, especially when somebody is trying to nudge you and push you. They want a reaction. Sometimes people want you to do something so that they can say, I told you they would do this or that. Don't give people that power. Don't let people have that, what do you call it, like have the power and the ability to control you like a puppet. Some people have that power over certain individuals and you don't even realize it. They're waiting. They do things, they set things up, they manipulate, they talk about you behind your back, they gossip about you, they try to smear your reputation, they laugh at your demise. I always say it's especially when you're going through a lot of things. You're sad, maybe you're in a poor physical health, your financial situation isn't right, you're having issues with your relative, issues in a romantic relationship, you're just having so much stuff going on, and then here comes these people and they're fire starters, trouble starters. They like to stir things up, right? Don't give them the power. You have to really pay attention and watch people, and especially the people who are right there in front of your face looking at you. Those are the main individuals that want to see your demise. I hate to say that, but the people who want to see you fail are most of the time your relatives. Most of the time, that same romantic person, your same boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife, your same siblings, your same quote unquote friend, your same quote unquote best friend, okay? A person that you trust because you don't see it coming. See, and that's something we have to be so careful of, is not letting your guard down around everybody, because not everybody is who they claim to be. You really have to pay attention to the energy and the actions and not just the words. So let's get back to talking about this. Anger will hold you hostage. I'm going to read some of these comments and I'll get back into it. Realist says, that's true odds. I think for some, it's just a little bit more work in that area to get to that point. I'm working on it myself. I think everybody has triggers. There's nobody who is immune from triggers because we're all human. We all make mistakes, but some of us have like a certain inclination. You got a certain, like you kind of teeter-totter to one direction because of some situations that happened to you. You're triggered by certain things because of your past or what another individual did to you, and that is what other people don't know. They look at you and they think because maybe you have a smile on your face, maybe because of your financial situation, or because how you appear, that everything must be roses and sunshine. So it's an easy thing for people to look at you and to judge you. They don't know you. They don't know what you're going through and dealing with. They don't know. And also, they don't care. Yes, they get pleasure from doing that. I've actually seen people who are that way and they smirk or they laugh. They think it's so humorous. to see a person get so angry, or to see people fighting. Like, have you ever seen the people who they love the confrontation and the drama and fighting, as instead of helping somebody during a situation? Like, we've seen it all on social media. Something is going on, and instead of somebody trying to help, call the police, call the paramedic, call what's necessary, what do people do? They take out a phone and take to social media. They start recording instead of helping. Really, what is happening in the minds of people now? People would rather catch the latest gossip or news story than to help another person. It's really something to think about. Like, what is really wrong with people? Yes, real is the energy. The energy doesn't lie. It's a real thing. My trigger is not the action itself, but the principle. Yes. There's certain things that, like, people know, especially people who know your backstory. People know some situations, things that happened to you, so they know that it's a very raw, like, don't go there on certain things, but then they do, just to sit back and watch your reaction. And those are very dangerous and evil people that you need to walk away from. Leave those people alone, because you never know if a person can do things like manipulate and stab people in the back and start mess and just be very negative and hurtful and really don't care about how it makes you appear or look. That's not a person you need to have in your life. You need to leave those individuals alone. They're not going to change. Most of the time, it will always get worse before it gets better. Okay. Now, I see I got 2 more comments here. Let's see. I'm big on principle. If I get slapped, the contact might not hurt me, but the nerve of the action would bother me more. See, my thing is, I think, like, a situation like that, somebody slaps you. I don't think, like you said, it's not that they slapped you, but it's just like the nerve of you. Like, how dare you? It's like, I think your ego gets offended. Like, I know you didn't just slap me. Not that, no, you didn't slap me. It's, no, you didn't slap me. Like, don't you know who I am? Don't you know what I've been through? It's crazy, you know? Real Odds and Even says the worst is when you change and you tell people that. Then they poke to a point where it is not naturally day in and day out. Then you respond, now it's, see, you didn't change, but it took a while. Yes. That's exactly what people do. And I know for sure that I have been victimized. And I know many of my motivators family have been a victim of this. When you start making changes in your life, and that's why I said anger will hold you hostage. I know that I'm not a perfect person, and I know nobody is a perfect person, but it took me many years for me to learn to just bite my tongue and to not say anything, and understand that instead of being angry, screaming, going off, embarrassing myself, I just simply don't respond. I simply just block a person. I simply just say, I'm not dealing with them, or not, I'm not going over there. Going over there. There's many things that we can do when we're angry and upset, instead of having a reaction or making a fool of ourselves, screaming and yelling. Because at the end of the day, you screaming and yelling at somebody who really doesn't care, somebody manipulative, somebody who wants to start stuff, you never know what that thing can do. It can spiral out of control. And we've seen so many cases on the news where it spirals out of control and someone is not here anymore. Somebody has gotten unalived. And we don't want to be a part of that. You gotta learn that even though sometimes it's difficult and people get you mad and angry, the best thing to do is just don't say anything, or walk away, or leave if you can. Don't respond, or ignore people. When people see that they're not revving you up, they're not making you upset like you used to be, most of the time they'll leave you alone. They will never say you change, even though you know you've changed. I know that no change is 100%, but when you make changes in your life, when you make improvements and you work on yourself and you're happier and you're at peace. But people see the former you. They see the person that they knew years ago when you did X, Y, and Z, but they don't know about changes you've made in your heart. They don't know about changes you've made in your lifestyle and elevation and getting intellectual, emotional elevation. You've gotten therapy. You have better friends. You just have matured and grown up, and it's just certain things that you're just not willing to do anymore. And one thing for me that I'm not willing to do anymore is I'm not going to argue with anybody. Do not argue with anybody. It's just not worth it. Let's see what I missed. They started and then run away scared. Isn't that something? Real odds and evens. And I see it all the time. People start mess. What they say, they start fires and then hide their hand from the matches. You started this. And then and that's one of the things that I wanted to encourage you guys and to let you know. I know it's hard because there's so many times where you want to say something, or you just want to bop them, you want to react, you want to slap them, shake them, you want to do something, you want to get even, right? You want to get some revenge. But at the end of the day, there are so many people, they're not even worth you responding. They're not even worth you raising your blood pressure, And I wanted to do this topic because the former me, when I was when I was about that life, I was like, mess around and find out, make my Caribbean side come out. And I was just about that. Like, okay, you want to go? Let's go. Fight anybody. But at the end of the day, you're the one that looks crazy, because when things happen, people don't see what another person did. People only see what you do. Don't you guys see that all the time? You only see the person who is screaming or yelling or did this or that. They never talk about what that person did. And that is what anger does. It's true, realist. It's true. I was about that life. I was like, oh, you want to go there? Come on, let's get froggy, okay? But as you get older, you really should be getting mature. As you get older, you really need to ask yourself, is this person even worth it in my life? Like, what is the type of relationship? Especially when it comes to on the job. It's just like, okay, say whatever you want to. I'm here to stack my paper and go home. Say what you want to. I don't care. I don't have to be I don't have to be more than just cordial hello and goodbye. You have to learn how to have the proper behavior. You have to learn how to deal with certain individuals, and certain individuals, you can't give them an inch. You can't give them anything. Some people, you can't even greet them. I hate to say that, but there are individuals like that. You can't even give them a human greeting, like hello. Oh, what's so good about it? Like, they're always salty. And it's like, what is your problem? They're always negative or jealous or looking at you, and have something to say about you, and being judgmental. And it gets to be very exhausting. I'm not going to lie to you all. It's very exhausting to deal with coworkers and relatives and social media, just people who are just immature. It's exhausting. But at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to have egg on your face. You're the one that's going to have to deal with the consequences of poor choices, of bad behaviors, of being immature, you're the one that will lose a job. You're the one that will be incarcerated. You're the one that's going to, have, a big chasm open because of people say, I don't want to deal with you because you're out of control. When you don't know how to control your mouth, just always say anything you want to. And nobody wants to deal with people that are not stable. And I've said it this time, I'll say it a million times on this channel. There's a lot of people with undiagnosed mental illness. Just because they have not been diagnosed does not mean they don't need medication, okay? And I'm not giving medical advice, I'm telling the truth. There's a lot of people on social media, in our relatives on the job. It's a lot of people who need help, and a lot of it, they need a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist. They need something, but they need to grow up. But it's not our job. At the end of the day, we have to know how to control ourselves. I think that is the reason why I wanted to do this topic, is because when people make you so angry, of course, it's justified. Like, nobody wants to be thrown under the bus or made fun of or treated disrespectfully or all kinds of things. Of course, nobody wants that. But you have to understand who matters. Is this a relationship that I have to continue with, or is this somebody that I can cut off with? Know your own personal value. And when I learned my value, when I learned my own friendship, when I learned that I don't have to respond, and we don't. And that is some way that you can get back at people, because they'll be waiting for you. Oh, okay, I'm going to say this, and then they're going to say, and when you don't say anything, they don't know what to do, okay? But that's what you do when you're mature. It's time to leave off the childish, immature behavior, talking all kinds of ways, talking slick, cussing people out, throwing people under the bus. I always say, if somebody's not your cup of tea, if you don't want to be around them, it's fine. Move on. But you don't have to be arguing, screaming, move on, move along, go to another channel, do whatever you have to do. Don't deal with certain individuals, with your relative. Don't deal with people on the job if you don't have to. You deal with them just as much as you have to, and then you move on with your life. And I want to say to somebody who needs to hear it, that anger will hold you hostage. And I never understood that part. Anger is going to hold you hostage as long as you let people make you angry. As long as you give people power, they will have it. I had to learn that I'm in control of me. I'm in control of my actions. I'm in control of my reactions. I'm in control of what I say. I'm in control of what I don't say. I'm in control of making myself happy. I'm in control of my peace of mind. See, while you cannot control what other people are doing and their behaviors and immaturity, you can control how you behave. You can make a choice to say, even if you don't have peace, I'm going to have peace. Even if you don't have joy, I'm going to have joy. Even if you aren't doing anything with your life, I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to stay in my lane and mind my business. See, and that is how you have your power back. That is how you get successful in this life. Not watching, not trying to express, not trying to get people to understand what it is, why you're doing what you're doing. You don't have to explain that. You just keep being great. I feel like that's one of the best ways to get back at people, is to be happy. It's to not let them have power over you. People love to and say you're this and say you're that. But at the end of the day, you know who you are. Let them talk. Let them say what they want to say. Let them not like you. You still keep being you. You keep living your life. Have peace in your life. Have joy. Stack your money. Okay? Handle your personal business, okay? Do all the things that you need to do for you, okay? Yes, real talk. Yes, facts. Sure is. They are mad because you're happy. And that is something that I think is so funny. People will be so mad because you lose weight, or you take care of yourself, you put yourself together, or you have fun, or you don't need anybody. You don't need to be in a relationship to handle your business, okay? You don't need anybody else. You're handling things on your own. You're about your own business, and that makes people mad. Like, oh, who did that for you? Oh, you did that yourself? Like, for real? Yeah. See, people get downright angry because you're talented. People get downright angry because you're positive. People get angry because they can't break you. People get angry because they can't get with you. I know to me, that was one of the craziest things. People get mad with you because you don't want to be in a relationship with them. Makes no sense, but it happens every day, okay? People get mad because they don't know your business. You got people that you thought you were cool with, but once you stop telling them the details of your life, now they hate you, and they want to start stuff with you and expose all your business. But it's okay, because when people show who they are, when they reveal, you know, that they're not who you thought they were, that they really don't love you, actually they hate you, or they're jealous of you and they want to see your demise, wish them well. I don't have to deal with you anymore. I'm done. See, and that is taking your power back. That is maintaining your peace. And that is what we do over here on this channel, mindset shifting. See, I didn't understand so many years ago to not let people have power over this. See, your mind is such a powerful thing. It is so powerful to know I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to tell my business. All I have to do is be me unapologetically. If you don't like it, that's your problem. Sad, so sad, but I'm going to keep being me. I'm going to keep using my talents. I'm going to keep smiling and laughing. I'm going to keep being successful. I'm going to keep healing. I'm going to keep learning and growing. And that is how you get revenge. It doesn't matter if they like it, or people don't think you change, or they think you don't like them, or you're hating on them and you're jealous, and you're not any of those things. People love to say you're jealous or you're hating on them because you cut them off. It has nothing to do with them. When you want better, when you outgrow the relationship, when you know that they don't have anything to offer you, you got to cut those people off and leave them alone, and go on your higher vibration, higher energy, positive vibes only. See, some people don't know how to have positive vibes because they don't know what it takes. Like, they don't know how to be positive. All they ever want to do is complain and know people's business. They're so focused and looking at you and your business that they don't even take time to focus on theirs. But you leave those people alone and you keep doing you. Motivators family, keep doing you and being you. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's all that counts. Be you unapologetically. Love yourself. Love your life. And keep yourself focused. And that is something that I have to remind myself, in mindset shifting, that I'm not always going to be accepted. I'm not always going to be liked. But what I'm always going to be is myself. And I remind myself every day I wake up, my best is always enough. It doesn't have to be enough for this person or that person, but it just has to be enough for me, because I know when I'm doing my best. I know what I'm dealing with and going through, and people don't know what it takes sometimes for you to get out of the bed, for you to stand up, for you to maintain a positive attitude, for you to restrain yourself when you want to choke somebody out, when you want to slap people, you want to tell them off. You want to, but you don't. That's self-control. That is maturity. And that is being a bright light. See, when you know your worth, you don't lower yourself. You don't dim your light. You elevate. See, you're on a higher plane of elevation, and sometimes people don't understand that part. It's not that you don't hear what they're saying or you like what they're doing, but you're so busy elevating and growing and learning and building and stacking and being happy that you have no time to even look to the left or the right or behind you to see what other people are doing. Stay focused, Motivators family. Be you, okay? Be happy. Because I know that's what Marlene's doing over here. I'm too busy minding my personal business. I'm too busy working and using my gifts. I'm too busy minding my own to worry about other people and what they are interpreting about me. See, it's not about anybody. See, this is the season of my life where I'm healed. I'm happy. I'm focused. And I speak over my life, my talents and my gifts, and I give myself the permission to use them. Don't let other people stop you from using your talents. Don't let anybody stop your smile. Yeah, every day you wake up, you deserve to wear your smile proudly and brightly. Okay? People look at you, oh, what are they smiling for? What is there to be smiling about? You just keep going. Don't even respond. Don't even say anything to them. They want you to say something. It's not even worth it. It just keep on smiling and keep on going, keep on moving and go forward, okay? Don't let these people hold you hostage. Don't let people make you stuck in the past from what they said. And I get it. I understand because I was there for many, many years. People say things and it really hurts your feelings. You're like, how could they be so disrespectful, so unkind, so hurtful? Or when somebody's actions hurt you because you're around them or because you expected better. You expected them to have better behavior, to treat you better, to support you, to be nicer, to be kinder. But you can't make people do the right thing. All you can do is let people be themselves, and then you make a decision if you want to be around that energy or not. And most of the time, it's or not. No, we're not doing that. That's the cut the ties, cut the umbilical cord, cease and desist. We're done. Okay? Don't let people's anger, jealousy, low self-confidence make you have low self-confidence. Don't stop using your gifts because they don't want to use theirs, or they don't believe in themselves enough, or they haven't made a choice to be happy. Or they're not focused. They don't know how to be consistent and persistent, but you're over here being persistent and consistent, okay? Know your worth and know that you, all my Motivators family, know that every single one of you are enough. I speak over my life every single day. You are enough. You are powerful. You are empowered. You are healthy. You are intelligent. You are beautiful. You are smart. There's nothing that you can't do. Wake up every day and give this world your shine. Okay? And I said the same thing to you. Go out there and give this world your shine. Okay? Never stop vibrating higher. Never stop having positive energy, even when other people don't show up with positive energy. You don't stop being positive. You don't stop dreaming. You don't stop believing in yourself. And you don't stop until you get where you deserve to be. Not where other people, not looking at this person, not comparing, not competing, where you deserve to be. Because I believe every single person has a purpose in this world. We were all born for a purpose. And when you find out what your purpose is, other people may not like it. Especially when you make changes, especially when you get healthier, especially when you're not doing rah and fighting and doing the behavior you did when you were probably a teenager. Now you've matured. Now you've healed. Now you learn to communicate. You don't hold stuff in. You talk about how you feel. You journal. You get out there and you exercise. You take care of yourself. You have healing and helpful relationships, and not the toxic ones. You're not going to scream. You're not going to argue. I'm not going to barter. I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm not going to explain myself. I'm just going to be me. And you just go out there and be you. Okay? Thank you guys so much for tuning into this topic today. I really appreciate every single one of you for spending time out of your busy Saturday with me. I hope you've enjoyed. And if you're watched this far in the replay, leave me a comment in the comment section below. I am Marlene Motivates. I am your life coach for motivation, inspiration, positivity, and mindset shifting. Thank you so much, everybody. Shout out to all of my content creators in the building. Real Odds and Evens, Realist, one here, hashtag slide accordingly. And I think I had a few others. I don't remember. Oh, Nate the Great podcast, and awesome moderator, Sirius as a Virgo from Georgia. And anybody who watches in the replay, or if you were in the bushes, thank you so much for supporting me and supporting this channel. Every single one of you matter. And you know what I love to say over here. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. Not your mama, auntie, sister, cousin, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, this person, co-worker, people on social media. No, live your best life. You know what you can do. You know your story. Be inspired. Be courageous enough to be yourself. Thanks for tapping in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe, and check out all of my awesome mods that are content creators. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your evening, and be yourself. Bye, guys.